Just can't get my head around it.
Well, it's not just that. I think he's aware he's in a bad movie, hence his performance.
Yeah. And he's been talking about, I read an interview with him there a couple of weeks ago as well, Stuart, I don't know if you've read this, where he said that he, at no point during the movie, it was fun to make, but they really didn't know what they were making.
Yeah.
You know, it was just a mishmash.
You can tell that as well. I think with Ryan Reynolds, I think he needs to take a step back from his career for a little while. Yeah. He needs to evaluate what he's done over the last few years, and he needs to come back with sort of like what Bradley Cooper's done with things like Silver Linings Playbook. Mm-hmm. He needs to try his hand at something a bit more dramatic instead of doing these silly, stupid characters that he's been playing over the last few years.
See, I like Ryan Reynolds. I do like Ryan Reynolds, but he's the kiss of death, especially in comic book movies. But he's the kiss of death in movies. You know, I read the R.I.P.D. comic. It was released as a collected graphic novel, IDW, I think it was, and they sent us out a copy of it before the movie came out. I didn't like it. You know, everybody's saying it's brilliant. I didn't like the comic book to start with. I just think this was going to be a disaster from the start.
And it pretty much is.
Okay.
Yeah, no, Ryan Reynolds definitely.
Isn't he?
Yeah,
Isn't he?
He really he needs to reevaluate, really, and just come back with something a bit stronger. Maybe a different tactic altogether.
Yeah. I like how you said it. It's so straight-faced.
But, you know, like maybe, stay away from the dumb comedy for a while. Like, still try for comedy roles, but maybe approach it in a different way.
Okay.
Anyway, number 6!
Okay, £512,560 this week, 1,473,903. What the hell is this, Justin and the Knights of Valor?
It's one of those kids' animated films that is thrown into the cinema. It's actually presented by Antonio Banderas.
Right.
So, yeah, it's just thrown into the cinema thinking that the kids will go to see it. But the problem is with these kind of films is you need to put them into the cinema when kids are off school. Not when they're at school. They only work when they are off school because it's a brand that nobody's heard of. It's a character that nobody's heard of. It's animation that's really, really badly done. And so you're only going to get a decent enough box office if you have put it out in when the kids are off. And this has just come out at a stupid time. It should have been released at the back end of October.
Mm-hmm. It just looks like a CATV kind of animated series made by, some little studio somewhere in the back end of Australia. It just looks terrible.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, should have been a summer holiday movie. But that's bad. What?
I think you're going mad. What was that look? You just said this, I'm going to kill you as soon as we're off air. Kind of look.
I've had a very stressful
Are you going to
week.
kill me as soon as we're off air?
I've had a very stressful week.
Okay.
Number 5!
Our third new entry of the week, £622,915 altogether. I have to say, this is a movie I had no interest in. That's not a political Irishman thing. It just looks awful. Diana.
Oh.
Yeah, have you seen the director's film Downfall? That's the one about Hitler.
I have bought Downfall, but I've never watched it. I have been told by many people whose opinions I trust that it is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, he also did a film called The Experiment, which was remade a couple of years ago. And those two films are absolutely brilliant. Why he's decided to do a movie about Diana just remains to be seen. Getting Naomi Watts. There was an interview with Naomi Watts on BBC Radio 5's live show where she just walked out.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't heard this.
Yeah.
Simon Mayo was interviewing her. There wasn't a really bad question asked to her or anything like that, and she just walked out of the interview.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
Wow.
Because funny, I was listening to RTE, the Ryan Tuberty show, a couple weeks ago. They went to a special preview of it and had some lady on she's an expert in Diana. She's been, she followed her for all the years and whatnot. And they've said, funny what you said, it's directed by the director of Downfall. They talked about her walking out, and they just said that the movie's just a disaster.
It is, because the thing is, though, Naomi Watts is a fantastic actress. She's in one of my favourite films of this year, The Impossible, an absolutely brilliant movie where she's just fantastic in that. Then she goes and puts a huge, massive nail in her career with Diana. I don't know what made her decide to do this movie.
It almost looks like one of those movies that was made deliberately for Americans. Because you know the way they have the whole thing with the royal family where it's like, oh, queens, kings, princesses, oh, it's such a fairy tale. So they've tried to put a fairy tale spin on Diana's life.
Yeah.
The poor little rich girl thing, and it's just in ridiculously bad taste. Whatever your political views are, it it just feels like such a disgrace of an idea, and even then, poorly executed on top of that.
Stuart, you've seen this, I take it?
I haven't. An Americanized film directed by a German.
Yeah.
That's not going to end off well, that.
Well, because I heard that, I have to be honest with you, I'm not, I really, and again, it's not a political thing, I'm not a royalist at all, I don't really follow these things, but apparently there was the rumours that she had an affair with this doctor, he was a plastic surgeon, and his character in it apparently only speaks in poem. Like, he comes in and says romantic poems to her. And he doesn't he's not a character. He comes in and, he comes in with bunches of flowers and he's like, hello, my beautiful princess, this kind of stuff.
I wonder how many words rhyme with Diana, anyway.
But apparently he's just full
Piano?
of... Vienna. Let's go to Vienna, Diana.
I play the piano.
Okay, anyway, moving on. This is getting disrespectful very quickly.
Yes, it is indeed. Number 4!
701,000, slightly more maniacal that time. £321, taking £5,249,548 so far altogether. About time.
Yeah, Richard Curtis' latest film. I have not seen this. It's him tackling time in a romantic comedy.
Right. And what is the word? To be honest with you, I'm hearing good things.
Yeah, it's supposed to be actually pretty decent. It's the typical sort of like romantic comedy kind of thing, the normal thing that you would expect from Richard Curtis. And this is his last film. He has actually categorically said that he's not going to direct anymore. So it's a bit like what Steven Soderbergh has said.
I was going to say, it's only 3 more films in him then.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. But yeah, so it had a moment of glory, but now it just seems to have, that everybody's kind of just forgotten about it, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Right.
That's the stereotypical Richard Curtis movie. Number 3!
712,000. See, his vocal cords are starting to get strained. You can hear it.
Sweetheart, I can talk like this all the live long day.
Flamboyant. £712,344 so far. Or, sorry, this week. £2,486,169. So far, it's White House Down.
It's a really dumb action film, but that's what Roland Emmerich does best. He does really dumb, stupid action films, popcorn movies, the kind of thing that you would have expected to be released in the summer, to do pretty well. You leave your brain at the door, you enjoy the 2 hours that you're going to watch, and that's it. That's
do you enjoy the 2 hours?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, okay.
It's completely, like I said, it's completely stupid. The acting is horrendous. The special effects are okay. They're not on par with what Emmerich has done in the past, with it like Independence Day and even Godzilla in 2012 and things like that. But it's dumb, but it works.
But finally, something fun again from Emmerich. Because we had the whole, Mother Earth, etc., with the whole Day After Tomorrow thing in 2012, and it was just unenjoyable. It was just daft in a bad way. But at least with this, it's fun. You know, it's a proper action movie. There's the generic bad guys that need to be shot in the face. You know, it's properly enjoyable again. You know, the bad guy is a bad guy. It's not nature. Beware volcanoes.
Yes.
Ooh, new ice age. You know, like I mean, I think
at least he didn't do an M. Night Shyamalan and Beware the Flowers.
No, it was Beware the trees.
Yes, beware the pollen.
Yeah, beware the wind. Outrun the wind. No, but there was actually a scene. I think I'm right in saying this. There was a scene in The Day After Tomorrow where I think Jake Gyllenhaal outruns global warming. Like you like I mean I think it's like a corridor's freezing behind him.
Yes, there is.
And it's just like that is I actually almost considered walking out at that
point.
Come
on, nothing tops M. Night Shyamalan though. Outrunning the wind.
Outrunning the wind. Yeah, okay, Mark Wahlberg outrunning
the wind.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, Zooey Deschanel just kind of stirs there.
And let's be honest, looks kind of stoned.
Yeah, well, you'd have to be.
Yes, you would. But in fairness, though, it is the movie where famously Mark Wahlberg was outacted on the screen by a rubber plant.
By a rubber plant, yes.
Yes. So it's not all bad. Okay,
well, moving on. Number 2.
£1,076,061. This week, £4,919,498 altogether. Insidious Chapter 2.
This was last week's number 1. It's actually made its money back, its budget back, just in the UK takings alone.
Oh, so get ready for number 3 then.
There is actually, I've actually announced the number 3. It took 40 million in its opening weekend in the US, nearly 10 times its budget. So it's another one of those Jason Blum presents. He's had a 100% record with every single film that Jason Blum has been involved in, they've all brought money back for the studio. So he's successful, yet this film is terrible. It's James Wan's last horror movie, and he goes out on a major whimper.
Okay. Because, you know what, I heard it's not bad scares-wise, but story and movie-wise, it's just pretty pants.
It is really pants. It's shot. I think he used 2 different cameras to shoot the movie. He used a standard camera to shoot the scenes where it's inside the house, and then the scenes where it's in sort of like this mysterious world area where it's not dead. You're not dead, but you're not alive. You're sort of like in between, sort of like another kind of realm. It's shot using like a handheld style kind of camera. And with the 2 characters who played by Lee Winnell and Angus Sampson, they're sort of like investigators of sorts from the first film. It's shot again using a shaky camera, and so it has 2 different camera styles, and you have to adjust yourself to that. And he tries to crank up the humour in the movie as well. There is no scares in the film, even though the people who I went to see the screening of, I think they must have had some kind of shock pad attached to the seats, because I was wondering why they were getting scared. But it's James. I hate James Wan for going out like this, and he has said that he's not making any more horror films. That's it. He's done with it.
He's taken on over the new Fast and Furious, right? He's doing Fast and Furious 7.
Yeah.
Okay. How does that bode? How do you think he's going to handle a movie like Fast and Furious?
Well, I think he was just phoning it in with Insidious Chapter 2, and I think his mind was already set on how he was going to do Fast 7. So I think he was probably fully in the planning stages of Fast 7. He had everything laid out, etc. And he just made this to say, my last horror film. So I think he should be fine with Fast 7.
Okay. Yeah, he better be. So, did you see as well that Lucas Black, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was in Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. He's been photographed on set as Kurt Russell. Did you see the picture of Kurt Russell? Bring it on. Unbelievable. Kurt Russell, Fast and Furious.
Indeed.
I am officially...
He needs to be driving a Dodge Charger, though.
Yeah. So... I don't know what my point was. I had a point.
I don't think you need a point, really. It's just Kurt Russell, Fast 7.
Oh, that's what it was. Lovely. That he, apparently, Lucas Black has already signed on for 7, 8 and 9.
Really?
Yeah, so they've confirmed 9 Fast and Furious movies. My brother said he heard 10, that there was a 10th confirmed. Have you heard any of this, Stuart?
Oh, it's sort of like going into trying to beat the Friday the 13th series, isn't it? Because they have, I think 12 films in the series on the Friday the 13th ones. Mm-hmm. There's the Puppet Master series as well. That's onto its 11th film.
Hellraiser's up there as well, isn't it?
Land Before Time, I think that's done 15 of them. Pokemon, that's onto like the 18th, 19th in the series. So
James Bond, 22.
Yeah.
23. Yeah, so
24 on the way.
Yeah. But, you know, I got to say this as well, just to go off on a slight tangent. I honestly think Fast and Furious is one of the few movie franchises that gets better every episode.
I think it's because it gets more aware of what it really is with each movie.
And I think actually I've got to the point now where I do actually care about those characters. You like the characters. Yeah. It's taken 6 movies, but you know what? You're invested in the characters now.
Yep.
I disagree with you on that point, though.
Stuart? It was a pleasure talking to you. Until next week. No way, John. Right.
No, I wouldn't do that. I would just turn the mic off. Congratulations, movie. You're number 1.
1,300,000.
Sparklers.
300.
Super.
Fantastic. Thanks for asking.
Are we all done?
All things considered, I couldn't be better, I must say.
1,336,159 pounds this week. 4,655,253 pounds. It's Thor Does Fast Cars in Rush.
Yeah, this is. I went to see this on a Sunday night screen, and I never go to the cinema on a Sunday. I hate going to the cinema on a weekend, full stop, because it's just full of kids and they're annoying me. And so I decided to go to see this on a Sunday night, and for the first 45 minutes of the movie, I was thinking, this is a very Sunday movie. It's a kind of film where you want to just put on and relax, and that's it. Mm-hmm. And then in the last hour and 15 minutes of the film, it ramps up everything. The film itself is fantastic. The acting in it is brilliant. Daniel Bruhl is just, I think he's Oscar contention here for Best Actor. Chris Hemsworth is fantastic in it as well. I think he might get a nod for Best Supporting Actor, and I think Ron Howard should definitely get a nod for Best Director as well. It's brilliantly acted. It's just brilliantly directed. It's shot fantastically. It's on a budget of something like $38 million, which is insane considering what Ron Howard gets out of it. It's just, I loved this film. I thought it was a brilliant film.
As much as I love Thor, right, and I do like Chris Hemsworth, I have yet to see anything